This is Yelo, a cafe started in 2009 located in Trigg, loved by locals and Perth residents far and wide. Yelo is operating on the site of the old Trigg Island store, built in 1950 on the corner of West Coast Drive and Benyon Street. The building that Yelo operated in changed ownership many times throughout the course of the last 70 years. Since its construction in 1950, it was known as the Trigg Island store from 1951 to 1984, changing ownership 4 times throughout that period. Cleggie's Tackle Shop from 1984 to 1999, Mare Luna from 2000 to 2003, Benyon Street Cafe from 2003 to 2009, and Yelo from 2009 to present day, becoming a much loved hangout spot for locals and tourists in the process. Well, almost present day. That's because on the 9th of May this year, Yelo was forced to relocate to here, to Flora Terrace in North Beach. So what's all the fuss about then? It's because of this, an enormous new block of apartments that the owners of the original Yelo have begun construction on, which will block out the views of nearby residents on Benyon, Metham and Floyd Street. And as you can imagine, they're not too happy.
All our views from there will be gone. Yeah. All gone. The whole house will be shadowed. I have had my whole backyard, like all my washing, I had to completely redo it because everything was so from the sand coming across.
I don't see how it adds to the coastline. I don't see its place. I don't understand. It doesn't need high density housing because it's not like we need to fit more people in here. It's not near a train station where you'd understand where apartments are needed.
Build it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is.
So they went to the media about it.
The beachside gem is under threat by a proposed 4-storey apartment block, and its future is up in the air tonight.
One thing you don't do to others that you don't want done to yourself.
It remains under threat by a 4-storey apartment block with a restaurant.
The light on these street lights is 10 metres above the ground. They're talking about 16.5 metres.
The development, as it's proposed, is more in keeping with Subi Centro or, a Beaufort Street apartment block.
So I'm Michael Pond, I'm the owner of Yelo.
Do you prefer your new location over the old site in Trigg?
I definitely prefer the venue. Yeah, like this is a great venue for us. The site has very special memories for me. So we were there 15 years. It was an awesome old beach shack. So for me that it's difficult to compare that location. It had an awesome view and a great feel to it, but it was hard work because it was an old building.
While Yelo is happy to be resituated at this fantastic new venue, residents near Yelo's old site in Trigg are furious that the new owners are planning to build a 4-storey apartment complex, and are concerned about the problems they believe will follow. I interviewed some neighbouring residents of Yelo's old site in Trigg to get their opinion on the new development being constructed. Were you upset at all when you found out that Yelo would be demolished?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was very annoyed. I think, as I sort of said previously, it was a real community hub, and to have that disappear and be replaced by sort of high density housing and an office space, which is going to have a zero community, value. I thought it was a real negative, and it was a really disappointing approach from the City of Stirling in terms of how that sort of whole process played out.
So they're building a 4-storey apartment block there with an office on the base floor. Would you say that you're for or against it?
Oh, against, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, have a look. You can see on the corner here, you're going to see it's going to be looking all through everyone's backyards. It's just too big.
Not going to have a view?
Not going to have, not going to have that. But the main thing is the size of it, I mean, they could have built a smaller commercial. Yeah. It's only I think it's a 700 square metre block, I think.
Around abouts.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous what they're putting there. It's just ludicrous, really, that they've got away with it.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the new apartment building being built there, and were you for or against it?
I'm going to say I was against it, not because of anything to do with Yelo. I just thought it was just too much along the beachfront. To put what was it, 5 or 6 apartments in with an office area at the bottom. I thought it was just too big for what they were trying to do. Yeah. But not because of anything, because Yelo was going. It was just more. I didn't think it was in company with the rest of the area.
In 2018, the Trigg site, which Yelo is situated on, sold to developer Momentum Wealth. After a lengthy battle with local residents, they were given the go-ahead to redevelop the site on August 27, 2021, as plans for a 4-storey apartment building were finally approved. A group opposing the construction, called Too Big for Trigg, created a Supreme Court appeal, arguing that the development was wrongly approved. However, they withdrew their appeal in June 2022. No one quite knew when construction would start, as Yelo was still operating on the site, yet the developers had been given a green light to go ahead with construction. The old Trigg site sat vacant for over 3 months, since Yelo had relocated to North Beach on the 9th of May, being trashed and vandalised until it was finally demolished on the 17th of August. I recently sat down with the owner, Mike Pond, and had a chat about the founding of Yelo, his recent relocation, and everything in between. When was Yelo founded, and how did you choose the name and the original site in Trigg?
Yeah, so 2009 it was founded, and the name came after the site. So the idea for the business was born because the site was available, and it was a pretty kind of fancy restaurant before we took it over. We just wanted to make something more casual that everyone from the area could enjoy, more than a kind of fancy place to go for breakfast. The name came about from an old surfing video called Single Fin Yelo, which was a bit of a cult surfing movie of the time. And when we went to register the name, they're not around anymore, but quite big was the Yelo Pages, which was like the phone book for business directories. So when I went to register the name Yelo, it was fully covered by Yelo Pages, had taken all sorts of uses of the word yellow. So at the time we were ready to open, and we kind of just rushed the name, and I changed the spelling, and that was how it happened. So rather uninspiring story, but yeah.
Do you ever consider giving up and just shutting up shop?
No, never considered shutting up shop. The owners were very supportive of, the residents around the area and the locals were very supportive of Yelo once they realised that it was potentially going to be demolished and a high-rise was put there. But up until that time I copped a fair bit of flack from residents about parking and how busy the shop was. But the broader community was so supportive of Yelo that there was no way I wanted to give up. I think it's a shame that they develop it, yeah. I think some buildings like, say, North Beach shops, for example, should be refurbed, or because they're old and they don't hold as much sentimental value as something like the old Yelo or the Cleggy site did, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Yelo's new location compared to the original Trigg?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's nice and close to the beach, which I love because I'm always, hanging around this area, and it's quite tucked away as well, which I like because the other Yelo in Trigg was quite busy, right along the coast. So yeah, it's quite nice, a bit tucked away and a bit more quiet. Yeah.
It's good. I like it better. The main thing is that the parking's easier, and also I think it'll encourage people to go to some of these businesses that are a bit further away from the beach as well.
While Trigg residents are not happy at all with the new 4-storey apartment being constructed and are appalled at the way the City of Stirling handled the situation, the new Yelo in North Beach seems to be just as popular or even more popular than the Trigg location. It is inevitable that there will be more change along our stretch of coast as the old homes and businesses are knocked down to make way for new developments. Only time will tell if those developments will cause as much commotion and uproar in the community that this one has.